All right, so I've got this Raypak. I spent about $2,000 on this heater. It's relatively small. You can pick it up. I only bought it for my hot tub, and it stopped working. And I didn't have any clues. And I called a bunch of people to repair it, and you know, nobody's got the time. Too far, whatever, right? So forget it. So, anyways, what I did a lot of testing. We used a voltmeter and an ohm meter and all that junk. And I think what I learned is something that I wanted to share. I did get some information from a gentleman that I think he went by the name of something dad, or, you know, like I'm a dad or something like that. And I'm a dad. And so he wasn't like a certified repairman or anything like that, but still he kind of helped me out. And so the fact is the problem that I ended up having was what he had fixed, but I just needed to figure it out myself. So I want to show you some of the things that are going through and see what we could do. Let's start off with that when I turned it on. When I turned on the system, I could just hear a click, but it didn't do anything. It didn't. The igniter wasn't igniting the spark. There was nothing going on, and it just seemed like doing nothing, right? And so I thought, oh my God, the thing is dead. The board. I don't even know what that means, but it just sounded like it was dead, right? And then the spark and the arrest. I don't even know what these things are. So, anyways, I learned about it, and I wanted to share with you what I learned. What I saw was that out of this puppy, there was a yellow wire. I guess that's a transformer that's transforming it from 115 volts down to 24 volts, and it's alternating current. This blue wire came from the transformer into the switch, and it went into this board right here. And at that point, I'm like, I don't know what the hell it does. And the other wire that was coming off of this is the yellow wire, and the yellow wire is the ground, 24 volt ground. And for the life of me, oh, and then I learned this one. This stands for pilot valve. MV stands for main valve, and then MVPV stands for I'm just gonna say main valve, pilot valve, common, which is kind of like, you know, there's in alternating current, there's the hot and the common wire. So that's what all those meant. And then this is the spark thing, and I learned don't touch that because it's shooting out a gajillion volts, and fortunately I didn't get shocked. But okay, so long story short, one of the things that he said to do was he said come to the back. And oh, let me show you a little trick that I did. I was really happy with this. My back is killing me, so I couldn't work. So what I did was I just made a quick U, and so now I can run my pool equipment, and it just basically bypasses it while I'm working on this heater problem. But looking at the heater, I still don't know what these do, but I know that this is a thermostat, and then down here, this is the what would you call this? The pressure sensor, or tells if there's flow or not. And what I learned is that when there is flow, this closes the circuit, and so basically I'm making a simulation that the circuit's closed right now, so I could test it even though there's no water going through it. So I thought that was a nice little trick that gentleman told me, and I'll post his thing. It bypasses this one, and it says that there's flow. And so I did that, and nothing. So then we start testing voltages and all that stuff, and I can't find anything, and I'm pulling out things, which I thought this was kind of cool. That is the whole system that just slides right in. Oops. Okay, and it just slides right in there. And what it came down to was there's this little, I don't even know what this is called, but I'll just pretend like I know what it's called. It's a little piece that goes in right here, and I'll show you that in a bit. But that piece had two wires coming from it, and it was these two red wires. And this was this took us a long time. Well, it took me a long time to figure out. It was 2 red wires. I think it was this one. I got pictures of it, so I know exactly which one it is. It's these, like, for example, right? And so I followed these red wires, and I'm like, okay, one of them is this one right here. And I looked at this. Oh, sorry. One of them is this one. And I looked at this, and this is 24 volts. Okay, and we're like, what? So that means that this must be feeding electricity to here. So then the other red wire must be where the electricity is coming from. And that's this one. Okay, so if this is where the electricity is coming from, where the heck does that come from? And so we followed it around, and it, in fact, comes from the pressure sensor. And what we found out was that there was no electricity coming from this one, even though we closed, no, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. There was no electricity going into this red wire, even though we closed the pressure sensor. And it all came down to that switch. Oh, I'm sorry, this sensor, it was a heat sensor. And what I learned is that that heat sensor, that one right there, and the pressure sensor, they're in what's called a series. And so I'm just going to fake that the diagram is that the electricity is basically coming from the transformer, this board, what I don't even know what the heck it's doing, and it goes to the pressure sensor. And the first thing it has to do is it has to make it through the pressure sensor. So that's step one. If the flow's not on, it won't make it through that one. Then it has to go all the way down to that thing down there, and it has to make it through there. And if it makes it through there, it finally gets to here. And if it gets to here, then this will spark, and it will open up the valves accordingly. If the electricity is never getting to here, it won't work. So either the pressure sensor is bad, I bypassed that, or that was bad. When I did a test on that for the resistance test, when it was cold, meaning not like, like right now, it was completely open, or meaning infinite resistance. It wasn't closed at all. And so that was what was stopping the electricity to get to this, which is why everything stopped working. So then all I did was I just took those 2 wires and I connected them. I used a little piece of wire to connect them, and everything started working again. Now, obviously, I've torn everything apart, so when I say everything started working again, this thing was sending the little tick, 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 tick for the flame to be lit. And so if I wanted to, I could just bypass that, and everything would work. But this is the safety mechanism. What this is doing is if that gets too hot, it's supposed to open the circuit, meaning like stop the electricity from going through, and it shuts everything off. So if I bypass that, and then there was any type of overheating, boy, I can really screw the whole system up. So I went on to Amazon, and they're like $9 on Amazon. So let me show you what that is. And that is what it is. So I had thought when I was doing the testing, this is showing currently open right now. And I thought if it got too hot, it would let electricity pass through, and I was wrong. It's just the opposite. This should always be letting electricity pass through until that gets too hot. And I'll confirm that one when I get the new one in, but obviously if I posted this video, then I've confirmed it. And so in summary, I think I want to share the things that I've learned that made this really worthwhile. Number one, create a little bypass so you can work on your heater and not worry about your pool equipment not being filtered and all that stuff. So that was my first thing. And then number two, I just didn't think about it. I could have bypassed both this one and the pressure sensor because they're in series. Both of them have to be bypassed, and then I could have proven that would have worked, and then I could have just hooked up the pressure sensor, and if that still worked, then that's fine, and then I could have hooked this one up, and then what I would have seen is it would have stopped working, and then that would have been my problem. This was a lot longer to troubleshoot than it sounds, but that's all it was, and it wasn't as hard as I thought it was.